Good morning, everyone. This is Professor Suhas. So today's session, we are going to talk on the sources of energy, continuation with the previous class, and we're going to do with biofuels today. And in turn, we will understand the importance of biofuels and the various other global environmental factors which are creating lots of issues and how to overcome that. Okay, so to begin with today's class, we are going to start with biofuels. Now, as on the presentation screen, you can see there is a photo which says biomass sources at the middle, and you have sewage, municipal solid waste, animal residues, industrial residues, forest crops and residues, agriculture crop residues, which all combined together acts as a source for the biomass. Okay, but the specific part of that will be useful as biofuels. So that therein comes in the point of biofuels. Now, as you can see, you can have animal residues and plant residues, agricultural residues to form into one form. The sewage, municipal waste and industrial waste is a byproduct of the first. Those three, sewage, municipal and industrial, cannot be considered as a primary source. It's a secondary form of source. So those two can combine. All these combined will form the source for biomass. Okay. Now, the substance formed by the living stock is known as biomass, which is mainly due to the plants and animals. These organic elements, which have high content of carbon, react with oxygen and produces a fuel called as biofuel. So, if the carbon reacts with oxygen, it forms a biofuel. So, these organic elements have a high content of carbon that will react with oxygen, and it produces a fuel called as biofuel. Okay, the principal organic matter form of biomass renews naturally in very short span of time. It renews it renews in a very short span of time, maybe a year or even less. This is a significant factor which has classified biomass as a renewable source of energy, which the fact that it renews very quickly will help you to understand it is a very renewable source of energy. So that is why, as an energy source, biomass can, the second point says, the energy source biomass can be used directly by a combustion to produce or indirectly to convert into other forms called as biofuels. So as we know that it is a biological material derived from living and or uh, uh, which are plant derived and which are specifically from plants or living organisms or dead organisms. Okay, it is also a derivative of solar energy, as sun's energy is utilized indirectly in growing plants by photosynthesis. Okay, so a simple block diagram may be like solar energy will be used for photosynthesis, and the photosynthesis is next part will be biomass, and biomass into the required form of energy. Okay, so the biomass energy can be used directly to come via combustion to produce or indirectly to after converting it into various forms of biofuels. Okay, now the biomass fuel usage is increased popularly because of the rising oil prices and the need for energy security. Okay, so the vegetable oils react with the alcohols such as methanol and ethanol in the presence of a catalyst to produce biodiesel. Okay, so you can have methanol, ethanol in the presence of a catalyst to produce a biodiesel. Now it can be mixed with diesel or the vehicle and can be run independently after a small modification in engine. It's not that you can use it directly, but a small modification is required to do it. Okay, so the biofuel refers to the liquid or the gaseous fuel for the transport sector that are predominantly produced from the biomass. Okay, a variety of fuels can be produced from biomass resources, including liquid fuels such as ethanol, methanol, as I told just now, biodiesel, and one more called as Fischer-Tropsch diesel, and gaseous fuels such as hydrogen and methane. Okay, so the biomass resource is a requirement for wide variety of forestry and agricultural resources, industrial processing residues, and municipal and solid and urban residues, as we saw in the diagram before. Now, what about the emissions? So, biodiesel plays a vital role in reducing the emissions of many air pollutants, such as carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxides, and which is very less when compared to the petroleum fuels, and hence they are eco-friendly. Okay, so coming to the various factors of this, we have various types of biofuels, which is which can be explained in this slide. You have biodiesel, bioethanol, bio-oil, biogas, and biofuels. Okay. Now, biodiesel is an extraction with the help of acidification of vegetable oils. Acidification process refers to the process of uh, production or the removal of oil from the vegetable seeds or vegetable oils, removal of oils from the seeds of the plants, so like soybean oil, palm, rapeseed oil, or sunflower oil, or residues of other plants, which includes animal fats derived from the rendering and rendering it as a applied fuel for diesel engines. Okay, and second is bioethanol, fermentation of simple sugars from sugar crops like sugarcane, or from starch crops like maize and wheat, applied as fuel in petrol engines. So fermentation means uh, you're adding some bacteria naturally, and making it to form to break into simple complex components into simple components in terms of sugars, which will be helpful for us to making it into bioethanol. Okay, likewise you have biogas as well, where you have anaerobic fermentation. Anaerobic represents absence of oxygen of such kind of fermentation, and animal manures, crop residues, and energy crops applied as fuel in engines suitable for the compressed natural gas. So compressed natural gas is commonly called as biogas. Okay, so when you compare to the calorific value, when the calorific value is checked out, calorific value is very less, considerably less, when you compare with that with petroleum fuels. Okay, so that is what is the factor to be considered while using biofuels. When coming to the merits, biofuel merits are, it's a renewable energy source, and it is generated from the waste, and it can be substituted as a fossil fuel. Few merits, and if you come to the demerits, it requires more of a land area, and collection and transportation of the bio fuels is very expensive. You cannot you don't have transmission lines to transfer, so it would be expensive. And now coming to the application part, it can be used as an alternative fuel for automobiles, cooking purpose. It can be used for generating electricity in power plants. It can be used in marine industry to run the ships, and for lubrication purpose, it can be used in lubrication purpose as part of conventional oils. Okay, so this is regarding biofuels, right? Right, now we'll just go back to the next topic, uh, global warming. Okay, now the the topic itself is very important for us to understand what are the issues being faced now. The environmental issues are defined as the problems with the planet system that have developed as a result of human interference or the mistreating of the planet. The various global environmental issues that we are facing as of now are can be listed like this. One may be global warming, and second may be ozone layer depletion, and third may be pollution of air, water, soil, and then over pollution, waste disposal, natural source depletion, climatic changes, deforestation, acid rain, biodiversity loss, like this. So there are various environmental issues, among which we are going to study global warming and ozone layer depletion today. Okay. Now, the radiation from the sun keeps the Earth's surface and the atmosphere warm. A major portion of this incoming radiation is absorbed by the Earth's surface, and a small amount by the gases present in the atmosphere. Okay. Another small portion is reflected back into the space. Since the radiation absorbed by the Earth's surface is re-emitted, equilibrium is established between the radiation absorbed by and that leaving the Earth's surface. This accounts for the average temperature of the Earth remaining constant. So it is like a it is like a surface protector for the Earth. It's like an lotion that we apply for our body from the sun. So same way, this ozone layer is a lotion layer that prevents harmful ultraviolet radiations being protected from the harmful sun solar rays. Okay, some gases present in the atmosphere air absorbs a portion of thermal infrared radiations, which is around 400 to 500 nanometers, and remit to the Earth's surface. Now, as a result, the Earth's surface becomes warm. This phenomenon is referred to as generally as greenhouse effect, because it will increase the temperature of the Earth. This effect is responsible for maintaining the Earth's average temperature of at around 15 degrees Celsius, and in the absence of which it would go to the negative zone. Okay. Now, the greenhouse gases, the major greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are carbon dioxide, methane, ozone, and nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons. Now, chlorofluorocarbons are the man-made emissions that are emitted from the refrigerants predominantly with freons. Okay, so however, the most significant contribution comes from carbon dioxide, carbon imprint, which is present in the atmosphere in large quantities. The natural source of carbon dioxide is the biological degradation of vegetable matter, which in essence is a reverse of photosynthesis. So there is a rapid increase of greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide, due to factors such as the combustion of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are combusted. So combustion of that will give you carbon dioxide, and burning and biodegradation of biomass, that is also a factor. Next, deforestation. You're cutting down the trees. Forest has been cut and made into concrete land. So that is a problem. Increase in industrial activities. Huge amount of industrial activities are done. So, and the exhaust is not cleaned. Is directly sent into the atmosphere. So that is a reason for this increase in the greenhouse gases. So what will happen? Of all these factors will lead to global warming. Now, it is a climatic change that causes due to the emission of greenhouse gases. Okay, global warming leads to the rise in the temperature of the oceans and Earth's surface, causing melting of ice caps, rising in the sea levels, and also unnatural platforms patterns of precipitation such as flash floods, excessive snow, or desertification. So as the rise level of water increases, the surfaces or the places nearby will be inundated with flash floods or excessive drought. So there will be both of conditions, both either sides will be there, which will affect the mankind. Okay. So what are the causes? Emission of carbon dioxide from fossil fuels and petroleum products, both in power plants and transportation and industries. That is the first reason. Then you have methane emissions from animal agriculture, such as rice paddies, and also from Arctic seabeds. Okay. Next, deforestation, especially in tropical forests for wood, pulp, and farmland. You're cutting down the forest for wood, pulp, and the farmland. So that is a big reason for global warming. Next, increase in the usage of chemical fertilizers on croplands. That is also a reason. Next, effects of global warming. Now, it is estimated that the Earth will warm up by 4 to 5 degrees more in this 21st century, and this may rise the ocean by 2 to 3 feet. Even a half a feet increase in ocean will have huge problems, catastrophic results on humankind. So you can imagine how 2 to 3 feet can create havoc to the mankind. Okay. That is a huge effect of global warming. Next, the rise in temperature could cause glaciers and ice caps to melt. The winter will be shorter and warmer, and the summer will be longer and hotter, which we are experiencing already. Plant and animal pests such as weeds, insects, rodents would thrive better under warm condition. Okay, now it may lead to massive crop failures. The global warming may create more killer storms. Depletion of ozone layer causes unseasonal rains, causes different types of skin diseases, because the exposure of sunlight without ozone protection will have a lot of impact on skin also. So that will create a lot of skin diseases also. And finally, it increases the risk of flood, as I mentioned just before, as the snow melts on the mountains. So there are huge problems of global warming. So we should understand the problem and find solutions to it, and reduce the imprint of carbon on Earth. Okay. Now coming to the next topic, that is ozone layer depletion. Now, before we go to the depletion part, we should understand what is ozone layer. Ozone layer is an invisible layer of protection around the planet that protects us from the sun's harmful radiations, specifically with ultraviolet radiation. Now, in other words, it acts as a nature's umbrella against UV radiation, that is ultraviolet radiation. So it's a natural umbrella against the harmful radiations. The ozone layer is about around about 3 mm thick. Okay. The ozone layer depletion is the thinning of the Earth's ozone layer. This is caused due to the presence of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The depletion of ozone layer is mainly due to the interaction of ozone with chlorine and bromide present in chlorofluorocarbons. Now, what happens is if the chlorofluorocarbons are present in the atmosphere, it will go and react with the oxygen present in the ozone layer and split up the oxygens and make them as single components or the atoms, and thereby creating small holes in the ozone layer. Thereby UV radiations will penetrate from that holes and and comes into direct contact with the Earth surface and the people present here. That will create problems. Okay. Now, once those toxic gases reach the upper atmosphere, they cause a hole in the ozone layer, causing its depletion. Now, this is one of the most important current environmental challenges we are facing, and that's why in 1987 there was a treaty signed in Montreal stating that each country has to reduce its carbon imprint by so and so level. Okay. Now, let us come to the effects of ocean depletion. Now, the first effect is there will be increase in the influx of UV radiations over the Earth's biosphere. Okay, so UV radiations will be more. If that is more, then the second point is interrelated. It causes skin cancer and other disorders, maybe to eye or some other parts of the body. Okay. Next, decreases the rate of photosynthesis. It is related to the plants. Lead to the greenhouse effect. Then it causes decrease in the yield of crops, because if heavy rains are there or drought is there, both will cause problem for agriculture. So yield will be reduced. So it affects agriculture. Adversely affects human immunity system and causes genetic abnormalities, because it will affect our human immunity system, and also genetically it will be abnormal. Okay. Causes the degradation of paints, plastic, and other polymer materials. And also, finally, last but not the least, we should understand how it will affect our marine life. If the marine life is affected, then a whole ecosystem will be under problem. So these are the few effects of ozone layer. Now, before I conclude this session, there was a happy news that was told by scientists in the last few days of the lockdown, global lockdown. Due to the lockdown globally, we heard that the ozone layer is healing on its own uh, day by day, and there was a significant improvement in the ozone layer healing, and the ozone layer is back to its normal stage because of global lockdown, where the harmful gases or the harmful emissions have been completely stopped, and thereby it is helping us to regain helping ozone layer to regain its original shape. So it was a news that was told a few weeks back in all the global media. So let's hope that this lockdown and this system of where we are in the corona fight against corona will help at least the nature, and specifically with the ozone layer, to regain its original shape, and it will heal by itself, and will help the mankind in future. Okay, so this was regarding, so this session was regarding biofuels, global warming, and ozone layer depletion. So I hope you have understood the concepts. Feel free to ask any questions in the comment section. Okay, thank you.